I was signing my own death warrant. At least, that's what my children thought. My name is Margaret. I'm 73 years old. And yesterday, I discovered my son and daughter had been planning to steal everything I owned. It started with a phone call at 6 a.m., unknown number. Mrs. Henderson, this is Detective Rodriguez from the fraud department. We need to talk. My blood went cold. Your children filed paperwork to declare you mentally incompetent. They're trying to get power of attorney over your assets. I dropped the phone. 47 years I raised those kids, fed them, clothed them, paid for college. And this is how they repay me. The detective continued. The hearing is scheduled for tomorrow. They've already hired a lawyer. I hung up and called my son Michael immediately. Mom, how are you feeling today? His voice was too sweet, too caring. I'm fine, Michael. Why? Well, you've been forgetting things lately. Remember last week when you couldn't find your keys? I found them in the refrigerator, but I put them there on purpose because the kitchen was being painted and I didn't want to lose them. Michael, I need to ask you something directly. Are you trying to have me declared incompetent? Silence. Then, Mom, we're just worried about you. Living alone in that big house, all that money sitting in your accounts. My money. Of course, we just want to help manage it. Make sure you're safe. I hung up. Called my daughter Sarah next. Oh, Mom, thank God you called. Michael, I have been so worried. About what exactly? Your memory issues. Yesterday you asked me the same question 3 times. I did no such thing. Sarah, are you working with Michael to steal from me? Her voice changed completely. Cold, sharp. Nobody's stealing anything, Mother. We're protecting you from yourself. Protecting me by taking my house, my savings. The house is too big. You could fall, break a hip, die alone. So you want to put me in a nursing home. A very nice facility. We already looked at several. My heart pounded. These weren't my children anymore. These were strangers. I need to go. Mom, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Just sign the papers when they come. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer, Robert Chen. We'd been friends for 20 years. Margaret, what's wrong? You sound upset. Rob, my kids are trying to rob me blind. What do you mean? I explained everything. The incompetency hearing, the power of attorney, the nursing home. Jesus Christ, Margaret. They can't do this if you're mentally competent. But they have a lawyer. Evidence. They're saying I'm losing my memory. You. Rob, I remember every conversation we've had for 20 years. I balanced my checkbook yesterday. I drive, I cook, I pay my bills. Then we fight back. But Margaret, this is serious. If they get guardianship, they control everything. Your house, your money, your medical decisions. How much time do I have? The hearing is tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'll be there. What do I need to do? Prove you're competent. Show up alert, well-dressed, articulate. Answer every question correctly. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the times I helped them. 80,000. Sarah's wedding, the 25,000. Michael's down payment on his first house, 30,000. Sarah's divorce lawyer, 15,000. I gave and gave and gave, and now they want the rest. At 7 a.m., Michael and Sarah showed up at my door unannounced. Mom, we need to talk, Sarah said. They walked in without being invited. We know you called a lawyer, Michael said. This doesn't have to be a fight. You're right. You could stop. Mom, be reasonable. You're 73, living alone. What if something happens? What if nothing happens? Look at this place. Sarah gestured around my living room. You can't keep up with it. My house was spotless. Always has been. There's nothing wrong with my house. The yard needs work. The gutters need cleaning. You can't do that stuff anymore. I hire people for that. Like I always have. Michael pulled out a folder. We've already found you a beautiful place. Sunset Manor. They have activities, meals, medical care. A prison with better food. It's not a prison, Mom. Can I leave whenever I want? Well, it depends on your condition. What condition? I'm fine, Mom. Yesterday you called me 3 times asking about Dad's insurance policy. Dad called you once about updating my life insurance beneficiaries. That's not what happened. Sarah nodded. We're worried about you, Mom. I looked at these 2 people I'd raised. I didn't recognize them. Get up, Mom! Get out of my house. Now, they left, but Michael turned back. The hearing is at 10 a.m. We'll see you there. After they left, I called Detective Rodriguez back. Detective, this is Margaret Henderson. You called yesterday about my children. Yes, Mrs. Henderson. How are you holding up? I need to know something. Is what they're doing legal? If you're competent, no. But they can petition the court. They have to prove you can't manage your affairs. What kind of proof? Medical records, witness testimony, examples of confusion or poor judgment. They don't have any of that. Are you sure? I thought about it. I hadn't been to a doctor in 6 months. My last checkup was perfect. I'm sure. Mrs. Henderson, I have to ask. Have you been forgetting things? Getting confused? No more than anyone else my age. Have you told anyone you're forgetful? Even as a joke. My stomach dropped. Last month, at Sarah's birthday party, I joked about having a senior moment when I couldn't remember her friend's name. 2 weeks ago, I told Michael I felt scattered after a long day. They'd been collecting ammunition. Detective, what should I do? Show up tomorrow. Be sharp. Bring documentation that proves you're competent. Bank statements showing you manage your money. Bills you've paid. Anything that shows you're in control. I spent the rest of the day gathering documents. Bank statements, paid bills, medical records, investment accounts. I also did something else. I called my financial advisor and moved most of my money into a trust. If my children wanted to steal from me, they'd have to fight a team of lawyers. The next morning, I dressed in my best navy suit, applied makeup carefully, did my hair. I looked in the mirror. I looked competent. The courthouse was downtown. I arrived 15 minutes early. Robert was waiting for me. Margaret, you look great. How do you feel? Like I'm fighting for my life. You are. But we've got this. We walked into the courtroom. Michael and Sarah were already there with their lawyer. A man in an expensive suit who looked like he specialized in stealing from old people. The judge was a woman, maybe 50 years old. This is a petition for guardianship, she began. The petitioners claim the respondent, Margaret Henderson, is no longer capable of managing her affairs. Their lawyer stood up. Your Honor, Mrs. Henderson is showing clear signs of dementia. She forgets conversations, repeats questions, makes poor financial decisions. What evidence do you have? Testimony from her children, who spend significant time with her. The judge looked at me. Mrs. Henderson, how old are you? 73. Or what's today's date? October 15th, 2024. Tuesday. Who's the president? Hugh Biden. Can you tell me about your financial situation? I pulled out my folder. I have 340,000 in savings, to 180,000 in investments. My house is worth 450,000 paid off. I pay all my bills on time. I balance my checkbook monthly. Their lawyer interrupted. Your Honor, she may have prepared for these questions. Is that a problem? The judge asked. It shows she's aware of this proceeding, but awareness doesn't equal competence. The judge turned to Michael. Tell me about your mother's alleged incompetence. Your Honor, last week she asked me the same question 3 times in one phone call. What question? About insurance. Be specific. Michael hesitated. About my father's life insurance policy. I stood up. Your Honor, may I respond? Go ahead. I called Michael once last week. I asked about updating the beneficiaries on MY life insurance policy, not my deceased husband's policy. Mine. The judge looked at Michael. Is that possible? Maybe I misunderstood. Sarah spoke up. Your Honor, she put her car keys in the refrigerator. When? Last week. Or Mrs. Henderson. The kitchen was being painted. I put them there so I wouldn't lose them while I was out of the house. That seems reasonable. Their lawyer was getting desperate. Your Honor, The respondent is living alone in a large house. She could fall, injure herself, and no one would know. Is living alone evidence of incompetence at her age with her confusion? What confusion? I haven't heard any evidence of actual confusion. Robert stood up. Your Honor, I've known Mrs. Henderson for 20 years. She's one of the sharpest people I know. She manages complex investments. She volunteers at 3 charities. She drives safely. She lives independently. What's your assessment of her mental capacity? Completely competent. The judge looked at the children's lawyer. Do you have any medical evidence? Doctor's reports? Cognitive assessments? No, Your Honor. But any documentation of financial mismanagement? No, but any police reports? Accidents? Complaints from neighbors? No. The judge turned to Michael and Sarah. Why are you really doing this? Michael stammered. We're worried about her safety. Are you concerned about inheriting her assets? Sarah's face went red. That's not what this is about. Then you won't object to her maintaining control of her finances while you help ensure her physical safety. Silence. I thought so. The judge made her decision. Petition denied. Mrs. Henderson is clearly competent to manage her own affairs. This petition appears to be motivated by financial gain rather than genuine concern. I almost cried with relief, but she wasn't finished. Furthermore, I'm ordering an investigation into potential elder abuse. Attempting to fraudulently obtain guardianship is a serious crime. Michael and Sarah went pale. Outside the courthouse, they approached me. Mom, we can explain. No, you can't. You were really worried about you. You were really worried about my money. Sarah started crying. We love you. No. You love what I have. There's a difference. What happens now? Now you live with the consequences. I walked away and never looked back. That afternoon, I called my lawyer and updated my will. Everything goes to charity now. My children wanted to steal my legacy. Instead, they lost it completely. And I learned something important at 73. Sometimes the people who claim to love you the most are the ones planning to hurt you the worst. But I also learned I'm tougher than I thought, and smarter than they gave me credit for. Justice isn't always served in courtrooms. Sometimes it's served at kitchen tables, when you're updating your will. And sometimes the best revenge is living well, independently, with all your faculties intact. They wanted me helpless. Instead, I'm free.